Okay, it's 5:30. We'll give it a few more minutes to see if people join. Aloha and mahalo for joining. My name is David Sakota, and I'm the Fisheries Program Manager for the State of Hawaii, Department of Land and Natural Resources, Division of Aquatic Resources. I will be conducting tonight's public hearing along with the DAR staff at our in-person host sites. It is now 5:33 p.m. and this public hearing is called to order. This is a formal statewide public hearing on proposed amendments to Hawaii Administrative Rules, Chapter 13-74, license and permit provisions and fees for fishing, fish, and fish products. The primary purpose of this proposal is to establish a non-resident recreational fishing license, a commercial marine vessel license, and a commercial marine dealer license to update the fee schedules for various licenses and permits, and to make other housekeeping amendments for clarity and consistency throughout the chapter. As required by law, the proposed rules have been drafted in Ramsar format, copies of which can be found in the announcement section of the DAR website. Those attending the meeting in person may ask DAR staff for a copy. This public hearing is being simultaneously live streamed to the DAR YouTube channel for anyone wishing to observe the public hearing but not provide testimony. For your convenience, the address to the DAR YouTube channel is at the top of this slide, and the link to the live stream has also been pasted into the chat. The purpose of this hearing is to provide the public the opportunity to provide comments in the form of oral and written testimony on these proposed amendments. Approval to conduct this public hearing was obtained from the Board of Land and Natural Resources at their board meeting on May 12th, 2023. The legal notice of this public hearing was published in the August 27th, 2023 Sunday issue of the Honolulu Star Advertiser. Additionally, notice of this public hearing was posted on the draft rules and public notices page of the DAR website, where digital copies of the draft rules in Ramsar format can be found, as well as posted on the announcements page of the DAR website. First, we will watch a short video explaining the proposed changes to the administrative rules. We will then begin the public testimony period, which will be conducted as follows. Everyone testifying via Zoom was required to pre-register in order to get the link to testify. We will keep registration open throughout the public hearing and will monitor our email in case anyone has trouble registering or joining the Zoom meeting to provide their testimony. However, if you are unable to join via Zoom, You may still provide oral testimony at one of the in-person hearing locations listed in this slide, or you may submit written testimony by following the directions at the bottom of this slide. Everyone testifying in person at one of the host sites should have written their information down on the sign-in sheet provided at the host site. Those attending in person who have not registered but would like to provide testimony can alert the DAR public hearing officer at your in-person site at this time, and your name will be added to the list. It is important that everyone who wishes to testify provide their name and contact information so we have an accurate record of everyone providing testimony. You will be called upon by a member of the DAR staff when it is your turn to testify. We ask that all individuals attending virtually keep their microphones muted when not speaking. We will take testimony in the following order. First, we will take in-person testimony from people who have been signed up to testify beginning on Lanai, then Moloka'i, then Maui. And once all in-person testimony is gathered, we will take Zoom testimony. I will then take testimony from anyone else wishing to provide testimony that was not called upon. Last, if we have additional time, I will allow those wishing to provide additional testimony to do so. Please keep your testimony brief and on the subject to allow everyone the opportunity to testify. Each person providing testimony will be given 3 minutes. Please be aware that if you go beyond 3 minutes, I will kindly ask you to conclude your testimony. We are recording this hearing to make a written record, so please state your full name before giving your testimony. Make sure to speak clearly so we accurately record your testimony for the record. Please turn off the live YouTube stream of this hearing while testifying, as it will cause an echo. Please remember to respect the opinions of all testifiers and that this hearing is not an opportunity for accusations or rebuttals. There may be differing opinions. Everyone will have an opportunity to voice their opinion for the department to consider. All testimony should be directed to me, not to the audience. Please note that this hearing is simultaneously being streamed on YouTube. The live stream will be recorded and preserved on YouTube as a matter of public record. Please be aware that by offering your oral testimony today, you are consenting to being audio and video recorded if your camera is on. Let's begin with a short video on the background explaining the proposed administrative rules.
Proposed amendments to Hawaii Administrative Rules, Chapter 13-74, Comprehensive License Amendments. As mentioned earlier, the purpose for this rulemaking action is first, to implement 3 new licenses: a non-resident recreational marine fishing license mandated within Hawaii Revised Statutes, Section 188-72, a commercial marine vessel license authorized by HRS Section 189-2, and a commercial marine dealer license authorized by HRS Section 189-10. Second, to update the fee schedules for various licenses which have not been updated since 1999. And last, to make other housekeeping amendments to maintain clarity and consistency throughout this chapter and with other chapters. Let's first review the non-resident recreational marine fishing license. The mandate by the Hawaii State Legislature was signed into law as Act 48 in June of 2021 and later codified under HRS Section 188-72, entitled Non-Resident Recreational Marine Fishing License, Application, Fees, Restrictions. The law requires DAR to adopt rules to implement the license. HRS Section 188-72 also specifies certain terms for the license, such as the license fee, that we are unable to change. Therefore, these rules are limited to the authority within HRS 188-72 and cannot deviate from the specific requirements of the statute. Although we do not have the authority to change any language of HRS Section 188-72 through rulemaking, we wanted to point out some key language within the statute for your reference. The statute requires the department to issue non-resident recreational fishing licenses for any non-Hawaii resident to fish for, take, or catch any marine life for recreational or non-commercial purposes, including subsistence. The statute defines resident of Hawaii as an individual who has established their primary residence and worked in the state continuously for a period of 12 months or longer immediately prior to applying for or obtaining a license or permit, filed or paid the individual's state income taxes for the previous tax period, or has established domicile in the state with the following forms of ID: a valid state ID or driver's license, a valid school ID, or an official document issued within the past 30 days. Further, the statute exempts non-residents under 15 years of age and active duty military and their spouses and minor children from being required to obtain a non-resident recreational marine fishing license. The statute also sets the fee schedule for the non-resident recreational marine fishing license as follows. It will be $20 for a one-day license, $40 for a 7-day license, and $70 for an annual license, which is consistent with other coastal states as outlined in the table in this slide, noting that Hawaii is the only coastal state in the United States that doesn't have a recreational marine fishing license. These licenses will be available for purchase online through an online licensing portal that we are currently contracting, as well as in person at any of the DAR offices. Additionally, we will be working with interested retail vendors to set up the online licensing system where non-residents can purchase a license in-store at the retailer. Revenues will be deposited into DAR's Sportfish Special Fund, which was established under HRS Section 187A-9.5. The statute specifically outlines that the funds deposited into the Sportfish Special Fund shall be used for programs and activities to implement Title 12, Subtitle 5, including the provision of state funds to match federal grants under the Federal Aid in Sportfish Restoration Act for projects concerning sportfish, for acquisition of the use, development, or maintenance of trails and access ways into public fishing areas, fishery management areas, marine life conservation districts, or private lands where public sport fishing is authorized, and for research, programs, and activities concerning sportfish conservation and management. The following are some examples of how the funds generated from the non-resident recreational marine fishing license could be used. User-friendly online licensing system and app, fish aggregation device program, improved recreational fishing surveys, artificial reef program, sportfish enhancement projects such as research and stock enhancement for key fish species such as moi or kumu, for example, new public fishing areas, and fish cleaning stations. Next, we'll review the commercial marine vessel license. The authority for the commercial marine vessel license was granted by the State of Hawaii Legislature through Act 43, which was signed into law in June of 2021, and codified as an amendment to HRS Section 189-2. The new statutory language grants the Department authority to adopt rules to implement the commercial marine vessel license as an alternative to the current requirement that each crew member on a commercial marine vessel have a separate, valid commercial marine license, and to establish fees for the license. In order to qualify for a commercial marine vessel license, you must have a valid individual commercial marine license, be at least 18 years of age, provide proper ID as specified by the department, and not have any unmet child support as required by HRS Section 189-2. The proposed fee schedule for the commercial marine vessel license is based on initial scoping with commercial operators and is as follows. For non-longline vessels less than 22 feet in length, a commercial marine vessel license will be $100. For non-longline vessels greater than or equal to 22 feet in length, the license will be $200. And for all longline vessels, the license will be $1,500. Once again, the license will be available to purchase online and in person at any DAR office, similar to the commercial marine license. The owner of the commercial marine vessel license does not have to be on the vessel while fishing, but the license must be on the vessel at all times. There is no limit to the number of crew covered under a single commercial marine vessel license. The commercial reporting responsibility will fall upon the individual issued the license. The commercial marine vessel license will also fulfill the requirement under HRS Section 189-2 that all charter crew and operators must have valid commercial marine licenses. The commercial marine vessel license is not mandatory and is meant to streamline the licensing process rather than requiring all captains and crew to have individual commercial marine licenses. Further, passengers or charter customers that are not part of the crew on board a vessel that is covered under a commercial marine vessel license will not be granted any additional allowances nor have any other license requirements waived. For example, a non-resident on a fishing charter that has a commercial marine vessel license will still need a non-resident recreational marine fishing license. The revenues from the commercial marine vessel license will be deposited into the Commercial Fisheries Special Fund established in HRS Section 189-2.4, which specifically details that the funds deposited into the Commercial Fisheries Special Fund may only be used for programs and activities for projects concerning aquatic life used for commercial purposes, developing and conducting resource monitoring programs, conducting studies to determine the sustainable use of aquatic life for commercial purposes, and developing recommendations for acceptable levels of use, research programs and activities concerning the conservation and management of aquatic life for commercial purposes, programs and activities concerning the importation and management, preservation, propagation, enforcement, and protection of aquatic life used for commercial purposes, and payroll for personnel of the department or the awarding of grants in aid to or contracts with the University of Hawaii or other qualified organizations or individuals to develop or implement the programs and activities for the conservation and management of aquatic life for commercial purposes. Next, we'll review the Commercial Marine Dealer License. The current rules include a definition of a commercial marine dealer. However, the current rules only include a one-time free dealer registration requirement as well as a weekly reporting requirement for all registered commercial marine dealers. This license is meant as a means to ensure accurate data and maximize enforceability. The registration requirement cannot be revoked, so enforcement options are limited when trying to deter repeat violators. Also, the current registration system is difficult to enforce in the field as the Division of Conservation and Resources Enforcement has no way to identify registered commercial marine dealers. All the loopholes within the current registration system has resulted in data deficiencies. The proposed commercial marine dealer license will be $100 annually for each commercial marine dealer, meaning one license per individual or retail location that receives marine life from commercial marine license holders. The license must be kept at every applicable market outlet and provided to a DoCare officer upon request. The reporting requirements for commercial marine dealers will remain the same and the licenses will be available for purchase online. As with the revenues from the commercial marine vessel license, the revenues from the commercial marine dealer license will be deposited into the Commercial Fisheries Special Fund, whose uses we covered earlier. Benefits of the commercial marine dealer license include better enforceability and better data, as well as funding for DAR's operations. Next, we will review the updated license fee schedules. As new technology becomes available and the demand for licenses and permits increase, the costs of implementation of the division's licensing and permitting system grows. Therefore, the fee schedule for these licenses and permits, which has not changed since the 90s, must be updated to accommodate for the rising costs and implementation, in addition to the costs of ensuring the system is up to date with new technology as it becomes available. Subsequently, the proposal includes increased fees for the bait license, the mullet pond operator and closed season sales license, the Kona crab and lobster closed season sales license, the Special Marine Animal or Product Possession and Sale License, and the Aquaculture License from $50 to $100. Additionally, the proposal establishes a fee of $200 for the license to sell reared species, which is a 2-year license, as well as fees for the 3 new licenses that were discussed earlier: the non-resident recreational marine fishing license, the commercial marine vessel license, and the commercial marine dealer license. Last, this rulemaking action also includes miscellaneous housekeeping amendments. The housekeeping amendments provided within this proposal include adding new definitions for bait fish, bait fishing report, catch report, commercial marine vessel license, fishing activities, license period, main Hawaiian Islands, non-resident, permittee, and qualified aquaculturist, removing the definitions for board and Northwestern Hawaiian Islands, amending the definition of resident, clarifying that licenses and permits are non-refundable, clarifying the administrative penalty schedule for violations of the chapter, adding asset forfeiture as an administrative enforcement tool within the chapter, removing the Northwestern Hawaiian Islands fishing permit, adding a catch reporting requirement for all bait license holders, giving the department discretion to require additional reports from aquaculture license holders, and other non-substantive housekeeping amendments for clarity and consistency with other chapters.
We've now reached the testimony portion of this public hearing. As a reminder, the address to the DAR YouTube channel is at the top of this slide, and a link to the live stream has also been pasted into the chat. If you just want to listen in to this hearing without providing testimony, you're welcome to log off this Zoom meeting and view the YouTube live stream of this hearing. You will be called upon by a member of the DAR staff when it is your turn to testify. We ask that all individuals attending virtually keep their microphones muted when not speaking. As I mentioned earlier, we will take the testimony in the following order. First, we will take in-person testimony from people who have been signed up to testify at the in-person host sites, beginning in Lanai, then Molokai, then Maui. Once all in-person testimony is gathered, we will take Zoom testimony. As a reminder, please keep your testimony to 3 minutes in order to ensure that everyone who signed up has a chance to give testimony. If there is extra time at the end of everyone on the list and you would like more time to testify, we will allow those who already spoke to give additional testimony. I will now stop sharing my screen so everyone providing testimony can be clearly seen. We will first take any in-person testimony in Lanai. Are there any in-person testifiers on Lanai?
None for Lanai.
Okay, thank you. Next, we will take any in-person testimony on Molokai. Are there any people signed up to testify in person on Molokai? Seeing none, next we will take any in-person testimony on Maui.
No one here to testify on Maui.
Okay, thank you. Next, we will take Zoom testimony. If you have registered for this Zoom hearing, we will presume you're interested in providing testimony, and we will call your name in the order you have signed up. If you do not wish to provide oral testimony, please simply indicate so when we call your name, or let us know through the chat feature. And we do not have anyone currently signed up to testify via Zoom, and I don't see anyone in the Zoom meeting. Are there any others who have not testified that wish to do so? Okay. We will be accepting written testimony until Friday, October 13th, 2023. Please mail testimonies to the Department of Land and Natural Resources, Division of Aquatic Resources, 1151 Punch Bowl Street, room 330, Honolulu, Hawaii, 96813. Written testimony may also be submitted by email to dar.testimony@hawaii.gov. Rulemaking next steps. This is the projected timeline for these rules after this public hearing. The dates are estimates, assuming that no significant changes to the proposal need to be made based on the testimony received. Based on the testimonies presented, the department will submit its findings and recommendations to the Board of Land and Natural Resources. If approved by the board, the Department of the Attorney General will conduct a final legal review. If approved, the proposed rules will be given to the governor for his final approval. Should the governor grant approval, certified copies will be filed with the Lieutenant Governor's office, and after 10 days, it becomes effective as law. Are there any questions regarding this process? On behalf of the Board of Land and Natural Resources and DAR, mahalo for attending this public hearing. It is now 5:57 p.m. and this public hearing is now adjourned. Thank you for taking time out from your day to participate in this public hearing. Aloha.